right, big show this time on SOS. Why is UNLV still not ranked? Plus, should the Raiders bench Geno Smith? That and so much more starts right now.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Bench Geno Smith. I'm tired of watching the Raiders rebuild. Get a quarterback to build upon.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sound Off Sports. Mike Davis here with you, as well as James Edward Barrickman the fourth. James, great to be with you.
Glad to be here.
Everybody at home, whether the Raiders, now at 1-4, if they should bench quarterback Geno Smith, who leads the league in interceptions with 9 through 5 games. James, let's go to our first call.
Yeah, this is Dan again, calling from Laughlin. Okay, now it's been a week since the last time I called, and my complaint was the Raiders. Raiders have a really quarterback. They got to get rid of Geno Smith. He's horrible. He couldn't make a touchdown pass if his life depended on it. I don't care how many years he's been in the league. I don't care if he's close friends with Pete Carroll. Pete just made a big mistake. Got to get rid of Geno Smith and bring in another quarterback, because otherwise the Raiders are going to go, 0 for 13 or 0 for 17 this year, because he doesn't know how to play football. He might have been good at one time, but he ain't good anymore. So the Raiders got to get rid of Geno Smith. Terrible quarterback. That's what I have to say.
All right, thanks to Dan from Laughlin. Let's hear one more call, James.
You know what? I don't watch a lot of football. Used to with my ex-husband in my earlier years, but I think that's a no-brainer. Switch the quarterbacks.
All right, James. Well, people are up in arms, and
everybody wants to bench Geno. We never. I don't think we got one pro Geno Smith.
We usually get one or two. We didn't get any.
We didn't get a single one.
Listen, he signed a 3-year deal, $75 million, traded a third-round pick to acquire him. Listen, Geno is trying to do too much. He's trying to force. He's trying to be the superhero for this team.
And that's not who he is.
And it's not who he is.
No.
He's a game manager. He's a guy who likes to hand off the ball, run the ball. It's weird that they're not, listen, past Sunday, you lose 40-6. You can't run the ball.
The wheels fell off
right.
on Sunday. Yeah.
So, you got to force a little bit. That's why I don't know if last Sunday is the game to say, okay, you got to just commit to the run more, but it got blown wide open.
It's a hopeless situation offensively. The season is hopeless, and that's kind of why I understand the frustration with Geno Smith. But what, are you going to bench him for Kenny Pickett? You going to bench him for Aiden O'Connell? You don't have a high-price rookie waiting in the wings, and you don't have any guy like that ready to come in and show what he's got. You got Cam Miller. He's a 6th-round rookie out of North Dakota State. The chances of him working out long-term are less than slim. You have to make this work with Geno, in my opinion. And so it's like Pete said in his postgame presser. They left him in. They thought about benching him, but they left him in because they need the reps. And I'm with Pete on that. I don't think there's any benefit in benching Geno Smith at this point.
There's a lot new here. New OC, of course, with Chip Kelly. A lot of new players on the field. It's a new organization with a whole different structure. But let's go to another quick call, James.
Yeah, this elevator Pete from the Legion. Yeah, we need to bench Geno. He ain't did nothing this year but throw a bunch of interceptions. Let's get other quarterback a chance, man. We done tried to, keep his confidence going. He ain't did nothing the whole year. So, yeah, bench him. Put in the other quarterback.
Yo,
that's our guy,
P.
Elevator P, there, baby.
We love you, Elevator P. Thanks for that. All right, James, let's go to one more.
I'm not a Raider fan, but I live in Vegas. It sucks watching Geno play the way how he's playing. It's time to put in Pickett. Geno Smith needs to sit down. It's that time.
All right, so it's interesting because Anthony Richardson comes in the game during the blowout.
Yeah.
And, they give Danny Dimes a rest. You're thinking, all right, Pete says they need to get reps. They need Geno in the, just working through the offense more. We're entering week 6. There's no, I mean, this is Pete Carroll, a guy who's won a Super Bowl. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about reps entering week 6. I mean, that's not a good look, in my opinion.
The it's dead. Season's over. I thought this was a 7-win football team.
1-4.
That
I don't
was
know
generous.
if it's dead. And it's a shame.
What do you mean by dead? Do you think this is a playoff team?
I don't.
Do you think this is anywhere close to a playoff
I don't think anybody can say it's a playoff team. But
then season's dead.
It's a shame because Chiefs are losing. Chargers were on the up and up. Now they're on a downslide. This is a time where this division, if things were going a little better, if they were just not shooting themselves in the foot as much, we could have been in contention to string along some games.
When you look at the standings,
this is far worse than I thought it was going to be.
Like I said, I thought it was going to be.
A lot of experts and analysts around the league were picking the Raiders to be knocking on the door this year.
I thought it was a 7-win football team.
I don't even
People
know.
In Las Vegas, some media heads here in Las Vegas said, this is a wild card team. That was insane. That was never going to happen. But I thought 7 wins was a possibility, but even that looks generous. I think there's just so much work that needs to be done on the roster. You need a wide receiver. You need almost everything on the offensive line. You need other pieces defensively. This thing needs another offseason, another year under Pete, another year of development. If I'm Raider Nation, I'm hoping for a top 5 draft pick, I think, this year. And that's a shame, because there were really high hopes under Pete. And I think, again, and I've said this anytime we've talked about Pete on the show, I think Pete will get them there, but it's not going to happen this season.
This year it's not looking good. Let's go to some more calls, James. Let's hear another.
Yes, I want to let you know that Geno Smith is the worst quarterback in NFL history. I really believe that. He's had more interceptions than anybody I've ever seen. I want to make sure that he shouldn't have even been hired as a Raider. So, as far as I'm concerned, go get the backup. You could prove something with him.
All right, that was a funny call. A lot of funny calls today.
People are mad.
A lot of good stuff. Listen, you can't bench him. You committed to him. He's still the best quarterback on the roster. He's trying
100%.
to do too much. The thing is, like you said, James, the more this keeps trending in this direction, they're going to be looking at a high
top 5 pick,
and they're going to be looking at a quarterback, and that's going to be kind of what maybe the future of this franchise is going to potentially be. But
it doesn't matter who the quarterback is for the rest of this season. It's not going anywhere. You could have Brady come down from the box and suit back up. Season's not going anywhere. So what good does benching Geno Smith do for you at this point?
I just think people thought this team was going to be more competitive.
100%.
Pete's a competitive guy.
100%.
He puts teams in a position to win. I think it's strange when you have the highest paid offensive coordinator in football and you're losing 40-6. It's also hard because of Geno's play and how poor it's been. We're not getting a fair chance to see what does Jack Besh look like?
Right.
What does Thornton look like? What is Trey it's hard to evaluate the talent you even have around the team because of how many issues there have been. But we'll see what happens. You can't bench them yet, and you just got to hope that they're going to start competing a little bit stronger. James, let's go to one more call before we go to break.
Yes, please bench Geno Smith. He don't know what he's doing up there. He's not quite ready to be playing for the NFL. Get anybody back. The Raiders need somebody who can throw the football to the right team.
It's so hot in here because I got such a great guest. I'm even sweating a little bit on my forehead, but I'm always sweating. You guys already know that about me. This guy right now, let me just tell you, a lot of times when you're an expert at something, you're a master at something, it's hard to be humble. This guy is one of the most humble, kind, sweet, gentle guys you're ever going to meet, and he's one of the best chefs in Las Vegas. Echo and Rig. You already know it. It's a staple here in the community. Green Valley, Summerlin, Tivoli Village. This guy, when I went to this first time at Echo and Rig, is one of the best dining experiences of my life. And now I'm so happy to have Chef Sam Marvin in the den with me for Dry Heat. Chef, it's great to see you out of the kitchen.
Out of the kitchen, I agree, Mike. I've unfortunately been spending a little bit too much time out of the kitchen lately. But yeah, it's great to see you as well. It's been a while.
It's really good to have you here. We first did something a long time ago during Thanksgiving. You got the great butcher shop there. I mean, listen, when you go to a steakhouse and you see some of these cuts of meats and how delicious and what is it about the cuts that you have? Because there is something different about the Echo and Rig experience than a traditional steakhouse. There's something. Feed us.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So first of all, by having a butcher,
Yes.
we can really cut all our own meats, right? We can't bring enough whole animals in to suffice our needs, but we're cutting a lot, right? A lot of whole products, a lot of trims of pieces of meat. So we're creating, bringing a lot of fun pieces. So like we just brought a Zabaton to the table about 6 months ago, which no one in Vegas was doing a Zabaton.
And
right?
I'm just nodding like I know what a Zabaton is, but what is a Zabaton? Tell me.
So yeah, it's a great cut, right? It's super tender. There's not a lot of them. It comes from under the cage. It's most of it goes to Asia, right? It's Zabaton actually means fluffy pillow.
Wow.
So it's like this. It plumps up a little bit as you're cooking it. Really tasty piece of meat. Also one of those. It's not a ribeye. It's not a ribeye cap. It's not a tomahawk. So you're getting good value on these cuts, right?
Wow.
So we do a ribeye cap. We do the center cut of a ribeye.
What about the ballpark cut? The which one? The baseball cut? What is that?
So that's a culotte.
The
right?
culotte, yeah.
A great cut as well.
What do you call that on the menu? What is it?
That's our. It's a baseball cut.
Yeah,
because it's round like this and it looks.
That's
like baseball.
delicious too.
And it's a great cut for someone who's like a lot of fat, right?
Right.
So if you're a filet eater, man, a culotte's great.
Right. Yeah, I love that. That's
Little
what I
more
usually
chew.
go with. And now the thing is, listen, when you go to these steakhouses and stuff, it's the sides are a big deal too. I remember what is it? Is the zucchini chips are huge there, right?
The zucchini, the portobello fries are really big for us, right? We do a lot of things that, that's where the chef part comes out of it, right? Because a steak is a steak, right? But all of our side plates, like, we're doing pig heads terrines, we're doing bone marrow carne asada.
Yeah.
We're doing octopus with gigante beans. So that's where all the chef love comes in everything except the steaks.
Okay, well,
right?
we're going to do a lot in this conversation today because we got to go back to the beginning. I want to learn about packing your bag at 18, 19 to go to France and learn everything and cut your teeth and learn actually the mastery behind cooking and all that stuff, and plus some exciting stuff you have on the horizon. But let me just ask you this first, because I'm always intrigued by chefs. I'm always interviewing musicians, athletes, chefs. I always... All right, thanks so much to Sam Marvin for coming on the show. Make sure you go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports, to listen to the full interview.
You're watching Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Why isn't UNLV football ranked? Greg Snedecki on Facebook says, UCLA beat Penn State, so using the football transitive property, UNLV also beat the number 7 team in the nation. It's math.
All right, welcome back to Sound of Sports. Mike Davis, along with James. James, we asked everybody at home, 702-855-3502. Always give us a call. We asked, why, at 5-0, is UNLV still not ranked in the AP Top 25? James, let's go to a quick call right off the top.
Should UNLV be ranked in the top 25? Absolutely not. FPI has us at 65. Power rankings, power rating services have us somewhere in the low 50s. We have not looked impressive yet this season, but, 5-0 teams, there's no such thing as a bad 5-0 team. I think it would probably take beating Boise State to get ranked. We'd have to be 7-0 with a victory over Boise State. At that point, I think people could take it seriously, but, we haven't really looked convincing up to this point. So, no, we absolutely should not be ranked. We shouldn't be close to being ranked. And that doesn't mean we're a bad team. I think we're a very good team that has some holes. But, yeah, that's my thoughts. Have a good one, guys.
All right, thanks for that great call there. A lot of good information. So, James, you're the producer of the Red Zone. You're a big college football guy. We love what Dan Mullen has done. It was a good win against Wyoming. We saw the beautiful rainbow. We saw the snow on the field.
A snow game. First weekend of October.
It's not good for a desert team.
No. Advantage Wyoming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that was one of the trip-up games when you looked at the schedule that UNLV could have tripped up against.
Their
It's
first
good to get
win
that win
in Wyoming since 2003. In the snow, looked like a little bit of a trap game for the Rebs, but they managed to pull through.
So 5-0, and just like our caller just said, there's no bad 5-0 teams. It's a great thing. I think a lot of people didn't think that Dan Mullen would get this team with so many guys moving in and out, a very brand new roster. To be 5-0 is a good thing, and to want to be ranked and think that they could get there is a good thing, but maybe they shouldn't be ranked. What's your take on that?
I had expectations that Dan Mullen was going to take this thing over the top after Barry Odom kind of got it up off the mat.
But you didn't think it was going to be this quick, did you?
I expected them to be in the college football playoff conversation out of the group of 6, and that's where they're at right now. I do think that they just need to keep taking care of business, right? They've not looked perfect to this point. They've not had a full game yet. They survived the second half collapse against UCLA. Week 0, you nearly lost to Idaho State. There were 2 other instances. You had to come back from down 14 points 3 times against Miami of Ohio. Scored 2 special teams touchdowns to beat Wyoming. So they haven't put the whole thing together yet. They haven't really blown anybody out. But if you just keep taking care of business, the ranking will come. Things will figure themselves out.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. And listen, a lot of these really great college football teams, they're consistently blowing out pretty good opponents. So yes, UNLV hasn't been there, but to show the fortitude, the grit that they have, and to be 5-0 is a great thing.
I do think there is something to be said for a team like UNLV that hasn't really looked perfect, but seemingly week in and week out,
they find ways to win.
Find ways to win and different ways to win. Stare adversity right in the face and get W's.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a big deal. So let's go to one more call because we got another good thought on this whole dilemma.
Yeah, if you look at the poll, UNLV's receiving votes. They're like 32nd in the nation right now. They don't have the best strength of schedule, and they haven't been winning their games by that many points. Although they are 5-0, there are quite a number of teams that have had way more difficult schedules. With a win versus Air Force next Saturday, they go to 6-0. If a few teams can lose ahead of them, they may sneak into the rankings. And if not, after next game, the following week they play Boise State in Boise. If they beat Boise State then, there's no way they're not in the top 25. Thanks a lot. Go Rebels.
All right, thanks so much for that call. As always, 702-855-3502. Give us a buzz. We always love to hear your thoughts. So, James, it seems like a lot of people are feeling you go to Air Force, you play that game 6-0, then you play Boise State.
Yeah, that's
right?
the big one.
If they win that game in your estimation, if they're already 6-0, they beat Boise, and now they're 7-0, are they ranked after
1,000%. 1,000%. And I know there's been a lot of talk in these responses about their strength of schedule. Look at their strength of record. 26th in the nation strength of record. That's ahead of 4 teams that are ranked in the AP poll. Number 12, Tennessee. Number 16, Notre Dame. Number 19, Virginia. And number 25, Florida State. So there's a case already to be made that they should be in the rankings. But again, keep taking care of business. Keep finding ways to win. Don't trip up. That ranking will come, and you'll be where you want to be at the end.
And, listen, this is one of those things where in sports, we see this in team sports and individual sports all the time. Sometimes you play to your competition. We don't know as a Mountain West, in a Mountain West conference with that kind of strength of schedule, we don't know. Maybe this is a team. If they were in the Big Ten or the ACC, maybe they would be playing up to some opponents and still be undefeated and have a record, that they could show for along with the strength of schedule, but you just sometimes don't know because you got to play who's on your schedule.
Right, yeah. And their schedule, I feel like last year was a lot tougher than this year's schedule. And to their credit, they're winning games. I think we were talking a little bit about will they be in the college football playoff conversation year one under Dan Mullen. They are. You look at the 2 G6 teams ahead of them that are ranked, South Florida and Memphis, number 23 and number 24. Memphis, a very similar resume. Strength of record, number 18, but strength of schedule, 127. I believe UNLV's strength of schedule is like 133. South Florida has beaten everybody on their schedule other than Miami, who might be the best team in the country.
Right.
So good news for UNLV is those two are going to play each other. And they might see each other again in the American conference title game. They also have to play Navy, who's also receiving votes. So if you're UNLV, you got to hope that those three teams beat each other up in conference play and you win out.
And the big thing you got to do if you're Dan Mullen, you got to make sure this outside noise, the kind of stuff we're talking about on this show,
rat poison,
that can't go to the locker room. You just got to focus on beating each opponent week by week and do your thing and not worry about the outside noise. Guys, coming up after a short break, we got sink or swim time. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Las Vegas Aces.
Why isn't UNLV football ranked? John Walker on Facebook says, because they've played basically a softer schedule than Gorman.
All right, welcome back to SOS. Mike Davis, James Barrickman. Listen, James, Aces up 2-0 in the WNBA Finals.
What a turnaround.
Looking good, big turnaround. Of course, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Asia Wilson, when that core who has played together for 5 years is looking good. They're playing well. It's going to be tough going up 2-0 for the Mercury to come back, especially with Alyssa Thomas. She gets in a lot of foul trouble guarding Asia Wilson.
She's a tough cover, man. She's the best player in the game.
Tough cover. Now they go on the road, 2 games in Arizona and Phoenix, and then they're going to maybe come back. We'll see what happens. Maybe they can lock it up in 4. What's your prediction?
I'm going Aces in 6.
Wow.
Jackie Young, Finals MVP.
Okay. It's a good prediction right there. Chelsea Gray looking like that point guard that everybody talks about. But Asia, Jackie, and Chelsea, that core, they're doing some damage to the Phoenix Mercury. I'm going to say in 5 for me. But we'll see what everybody thinks. We'll see what happens with our Aces. But thanks so much for joining the conversation with us. 702-855-3502. Always give us a buzz. We've been getting so many great calls the past few weeks, so we really appreciate it. For James and editor Jess, I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you next week here on Sound Off Sports.